Hey, friends, thanks for joining. Let's begin seated. Just come into any comfortable seated posture. We'll just be here for a few minutes. Once you're sitting nice and tall with the crown of your head directly over the base of your spine, then close your eyes. Just begin to practice pratyahara by drawing your awareness and your senses inwards the way a turtle draws its limbs into its shell. So you really notice how it feels to be in your body today at this time. And then also begin to notice your breath. Start to feel your body breathe. All right, then bring your palms together to Anjali Mudra and remember your sankalpa or your intention for the practice. Okay, so to rub your palms together and create a little heat in your hands. Once you build some heat, use your hands to massage your shoulders and neck. Start to wake up the old cervical area. At this point, continue breathing freely through your nose. Keep relaxing your jaw. Just have to feel things out. All right, create a little more heat. And then stretch one leg out and use your hands to massage your other foot, the foot or the bent leg, that is. Try to wake up all its little joints. Great. Now wake up your other foot. Okay, stretch both legs forward. And then just bend your knees. Bring your hands, or I should say, lean back into your hands here so you don't feel any compression in your spines. Take weight on your hands. And just begin with some easy windshield wipers. And then begin to coordinate the movements with the breath a bit as well. So when you inhale, bring your knees up. When you exhale, drop them to a side. All right, now drop your knees to your right and just set up a nice 90-90 position here. So you've got 90-degree angles in both knees. And then so you're on your right hip, also lower down to your right forearm. And then just do a little hip lifting here to engage our core. So go ahead and lift your right hip up and then bring it back down. And lift it up and bring it back down. Now your left hand over here, you can have it wherever you want, but just try to keep it off the floor. You can have it on your hip, on your waist, you can reach your left hand up. Any of those are fine. But go up and down a few times, maybe 5 or 6 times, so you begin to engage the right side of your core and get a little bit of a stretch in the left side of your core. Okay, now keep your right hip off the floor. Bring your left hand to the back of your head and just kind of repoint your left elbow toward the wall this way, so you feel a bigger side stretch. Just kind of pointing, reaching through your left elbow and then look up. Okay, then lower down. Unwind. And let's change sides. Now drop your knees to your left. Set up a good 90-90 position on this side. Once you have those 90-degree angles, then lower down to your left forearm. And lift your left hip up and down, up and down. So you now you engage and relax the left side of your core. And once it feels like you've gone to both sides an equal number of times, keep your left hip off the floor. Bring your right hand to the back of your head and kind of point your right elbow so you feel a big side stretch. And notice I'm not pointing my right elbow toward the ceiling. I'm kind of pointing it toward that wall that way as best I can. Okay, then lower down. Unwind. Stretch both legs forward again. And then let's just go ahead and cross our ankles here and rock forward to all fours so we can go through some kneeling salutations next. From all fours, inhale and extend your spine so your sternum moves away from your navel. Then curl your toes under so you can exhale back to down dog. Then I'll inhale back to all fours. Lift your chest and look forward. This exhale, sit back into child's pose. Tighten your abdomen on the way back. Now inhale, sweep your arms up. Open the fronts of your hips. Exhale back into child's pose. And we'll start that sequence again. Inhale up to all fours. Extend your spine. And then exhale back to dog pose. Inhale to your hands and knees. Lift your chest. Look forward. Exhale back to child's pose. Tighten the breadbasket. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Open the fronts of your hips. Exhale back into child's pose. I'm going to talk you through that sequence one more time. Inhale to all fours. Exhale to dog. Inhale to your hands and knees. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale back to child's pose. Okay, now keep moving through that sequence on your own, at your own pace. Making each movement one breath. Just make sure you stretch the breath so it lasts a little bit longer than the movement does. Breathing through your nose, but hearing the breath move in and out of your throat now. So you're practicing Ujjayi pranayama. Now, this next time you're in downward facing dog, let's stay there. Let's stay in dog pose. And then once you're there this time, maybe pedal your feet back and forth a little bit into a shift, your hips a little side to side. Okay, let's come back to all fours and do some crawling next. Crawling is really good for core strength and balance, which, of course, I love to work on core strength, balance. We'll do a lot of that kind of stuff today. So from here, lift your the right hand and your left knee off the floor, and then move them both forward. Now lift your left hand and your right knee off the floor and move them forward. So you're crawling forward until you run out of room. Once you run out of room, reverse it, go backward. Now, of course, when we do these movements, it's going to require core strength and balance to balance on your opposite hand and knee. So, to help improve your balance even more, make sure you lift your opposite hand and knee and shin at the same time and bring them down at the same time. Don't do one then the other. So if you want to make it harder, don't go faster. go slower. So it requires you to balance on the opposite hand and shin and knee a little bit longer. Hope that all makes sense. Keep going at your own pace. When you run out of room, going backwards and go forwards again. All right, now I know a lot of you here are experts at this. If you want more challenge, curl your toes under and keep your knees just a little bit off the floor. Just a little bit, not too high. In fact, when we do these, if you're doing the variation with your knees off the floor, do your best to keep your hips lower than your shoulders. So we're not doing like a bear crawl. Hips are hopefully lower or the same height as your shoulders. And as I mentioned, this will take more core strength, more balance. Same time. Lift them up and bring them down. Slower is kind of better for this one because it requires you to balance longer. All right, once you've mastered that one, just go ahead and sit back. If it's comfortable, sit back on your heels or a prop. If it's not comfortable, sit however you need to, just for a minute here. Bring your palms together again, but now make a circular motion with your hands. So you mobilize your wrists and elbows a bit. It might feel good to give a little pressure when you press the backs of your hands into each other here. Good opportunity to smooth out your breath as well. And then reverse it, go the other direction. All right, now bring your fingertips to your elbows, make big backwards circles with your elbows, fingertips to your shoulders. Now add a little twisting. So bring one elbow forward, one elbow backward at the same time, and turn your shoulders. And then turn the other way so you get some core activation in there here as well. All right, then finally rest your hands in your lap and make a circle with your chin. So bring your chin down, then move your chin toward one shoulder, lift it up, chin to the other shoulder, and then down again. And reverse it. All right, let's stretch back to dog. And then if you have lost a long, smooth quality to your breath, in fact, let's begin with Ujjayi pranayama again. If you stopped, every time you exhale, engage your lower abdomen, lift your pelvic floor. Then when you inhale, expand your rib cage, even the back of your rib cage. All right, let's rock forward to plank pose. Just take a few breaths here in plank. Tighten your thighs, tighten your glutes, tighten your abdomen. And let's do a minute long plank. So for this minute long plank, we'll call it the minute long plank series. So do the regular plank. You can do some side planking in there. You can do some shoulder tapping planks, whatever kind of plank you want, just for the next 60 seconds. Okay. Now go ahead and finish up, and let's lower all the way to the floor with control. Once you're down, just stretch your arms forward into the full prostration, also known as Danda Samarpana. Fill your torso with breath here. Okay, now slide your elbows under your shoulders for a Sphinx pose and see if you can create a little more length in your waist here. Once you create a little more length in your waist, bend your knees and make some circles with your shins so you rotate your thighs again. And go the other direction. Okay, good. Bring your feet back to the floor. Now slide your hands under your shoulders. Inhale the upward facing dog. And let's go back into downward facing dog. Now step your right foot forward into a lunge. Do like a lizard lunge. So your hands are on the inside of your right foot here. And then just make some movements with your hips. You got this first lunge. See how it feels. All right, now, since we're here, go ahead and keep your left hand, have your left hand on like the left edge of your mat. Slide your right foot off the mat. So your right foot is completely off the mat. So meaning you've got a lot of space between your left hand and your right foot over here. Now bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Hope you can see. And then we're just gonna slide forward and have a seat on our left hip again. So you'll feel the left side of your core engage to kind of just slide forward onto your left hip and your left knee is bent. So you're something like this. Then use your core again to lift your left hip off the floor and step back into the lunge. Then try that again. Just kind of slide forward so your left hip is on the mat, left knee is bent, and then step back into a lunge. Just try that a few times. So as I mentioned a couple of times now, to make that movement happen, you really feel the left side of your core engage. Really good for core strength. Okay. Now let's step back into the lunge and return to plank. From plank, lower to the floor with control, and then stretch your arms forward. Take a full breath in. This exhale, slide your hands under your shoulders. Inhale the upward facing dog. And exhale back into downward facing dog. So we can change sides. So now left foot forward to the outside of your left hand. It's that lizard lunge. Again, make some movements. Check out this side. See how it feels. Okay, now same thing on this side. Slide your left foot off the mat. Have your right hand on the right edge of the mat. So you've got a lot of space between your left foot and your right hand. Now left forearm on the thigh. Slide down, bring your right hip to the floor. So something like that. And then lift your right hip back and step back into lunge. Just like the first side, try this a few more times. I'll try to give you kind of different angles here so you really see what I'm doing. And kind of like the crawling, with this one, the slower the better. Kind of so the slower you go, the more time, longer time you're required to balance and engage your core. All right, enough of that. Now go ahead and step your right foot forward. So your feet are toward the front of your mat. Have your feet, let's say, at least hip width. Bring your fingertips down to the floor and come into a nice squat. Now, as you squat this time, as you come into this squat, let your heels lift off the floor and have your arms between your knees. So heels are off the floor, hips low, shoulders high, arms between your knees, and look up. So try to extend your spine here. And then when you exhale, press your heels down, press your palms down as well, but press your hips up. And then repeat as you inhale, come into that squat, arms between your knees, heels can lift off the floor. That's fine. Look up. Exhale, press your hips up, heels and palms down. One more time. Inhale here and exhale here. Okay. This inhale, stand up and sweep your arms overhead. Exhale as you bring your arms down. Okay, let's go through some full salutes. We're going to incorporate that squat, and we're going to incorporate that full prostration as well. Ready? I'll talk you through the first two. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale as you fold forward. Inhale that squat we did. Now this exhale, either step or hop back and lower all the way to the floor. Once you're down, stretch your arms forward, take a full breath in. Exhale when you bring your hands under your shoulders. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale back into downward facing dog. All right, take a breath in, down dog. And as you exhale, bend your knees, look forward between your hands, either step or hop to the front of your mat. And then inhale into that squat on your toes. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead. And then exhale, arms down. Great. Let's do one more together. Inhale as you reach up. And then exhale as you fold forward. Inhale to the squat. Exhale to step or hop back and lower to the floor. Stretch your arms forward. Take a full breath in. Exhale when you slide your hands under your shoulders. Inhale to up dog. And exhale back into down dog. All right. Take a breath in, down dog. And then bend your knees, look forward between your hands, either step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale here. Exhale here. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead. And then exhale, arms down. Great. Let's try three more of those on your own, at your own pace with a skillful use of your breath. One more time. Next time you're in down dog, let's stay there. Let's all meet in this next down dog. Okay, now once you're in down dog, this time let's stay there again. Let's meet in down dog. Yep. Practice being still. Slow down the momentum of your breath a little bit more here. At the very end of this exhale, do a brief pause of your breath. And as you pause after exhale, suck your navel back towards your spine so you hollow out your abdomen for a second or two. Then relax. Inhale and repeat. Exhale all the breath out and all three bandhas. Let's try that one more time. All right. Good. Now bend your knees, look forward, step or hop to the front. Inhale here. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, stand up, arms overhead. And then exhale, arms down. Let's just take a few breaths here. Mountain pose. Make sure you're grounding equally through both feet. All right, now open your feet wide. Not as wide as you can, but relatively, for sure, wider than a yoga mat. Let's say about one leg length between your feet at least. Turn your toes out just a little bit. Now we're going to do chakra, the revolving disc. Remember, when we do this one, especially when you lean forward, I would suggest bending your knees at least a little bit, maybe a lot. Our goal here is not to keep our legs straight. Our goal is to make a really big circle, our intention, a really big circle with our upper body. So go ahead and interlace your fingers behind your head. Inhale here, open your chest and ribcage. And as you exhale, lean to one side and then lean forward. Inhale to the other side and then back up. Open your chest and ribcage to the top. Big circular motion. Let's say about 5 times in the first direction. And then 5 times in the other direction. All right. Once you've gone both times in equal directions, equal times in both directions, then go ahead and fold forward. You go into a wide footed pose. As you fold, you might need to readjust your feet, maybe a little bit wider. That's fine. Just kind of settle in here for a moment. And let's do some side lunging. So go ahead and bend one knee, sink into that side. You'll readjust your hands, of course, here. Make sure you avoid collapsing to the inner arch of the foot that you're moving toward, that you're putting more weight on, I should say. And then check out the other side. And just begin to move side to side, kind of like the crawling and a number of other things we did in the squatting. Do your best to keep your hips a little bit lower than your shoulders. Not wrong to have your hips higher than your shoulders, but a little more hip focused. If you keep your hips lower than your shoulders the whole time, so even in the center, if you can, even in the middle. And again, no need to rush. Plenty of time. Feel free to hang on one side if it seems appropriate or seems beneficial. Okay, now once you've gone to both sides in equal number of times, let's stand up again. Okay, now we're just gonna come into what some people call a sumo squat. So a sumo squat, basically a squat with your feet wide, like a sumo wrestler starts. So again, my feet are for sure wider than my hips and shoulders. I'll point my toes forward. Your toes might turn out a little bit. That's fine if they do. But now, hips lower than your shoulders, come into a deep squat. It's very similar to a horse stance, I guess, what most people call a horse stance. So hips low, feet wide, shoulders high. And then let's do this one where you bring your palms together and turn your hands so you're like you're shaking your own hand. I'll give you a different view. Take some slow, smooth breaths here. Like earlier, when you exhale, engage your lower abdomen, lift your pelvic floor. When you inhale, expand your rib cage, even the back of your rib cage. Okay, good. Now, fold forward again. And just depending on where you are in your mat, you'll probably want to just pivot to face the front of your mat again. Let's return to plank. This time in plank, though, cross your ankles. So one foot's off the floor. Squeeze your thighs together. Tighten your abdomen again. Push the floor away. Even spread your shoulder blades. Now change the cross of your ankles. Keep squeezing. Keep breathing. Okay, uncross your ankles. Lower to the floor. And let's go right into the side scorpion. So bring your left arm out to the side here, palm down. Roll to your left and bring your right foot someplace near your left hand over there. And then split your legs. Okay, let's change sides. Right arm out to the side. Palm down, roll to your right, bring your left foot towards your right hand. Slide your feet away from each other. All right. Back on your mat. Bring both arms out to the sides and lift everything up. Lift your head, lift your arms, and lift your legs. All right. Then relax in the crocodile. Okay. Inhale back to up dog. Exhale to down dog. All right. Now we're going to go into a lunge again. Let's start on the left side this time, though. So step your left foot forward. Have your left foot off your mat, though. So, like earlier, a lot of space between your left foot and your right hand. Lots of space. Now we're going to work on the step through. We're going to stick to the same side. So, like we did earlier, begin with your left forearm on your left thigh, like I'm doing right now. Now, more challenging would be have your left forearm hovering off your left thigh. Either way is good though. So this is going to require more strength on one side. They're both core strengthening. This is just a little more challenging. So either way. Now slide your right leg forward again. Either have a seat on your right hip, or if you can, keep your right leg off the floor and just have your right leg straight hovering off the floor. And then when you're ready, step back into that lunge. Same side. Right, either have a seat or bring your right leg forward and then back to the lunge. Let's do that, I don't know, 5, 6 more times. Like a bunch of things we've done already, slower is going to be harder. So just keep that in mind. Slower is going to be more strengthening, I guess I could say. All right, back to the lunge. Return to dog pose. Take a few breaths there, readjust. And now change that. Step your right foot forward, outside your right hand, but have your right foot off your mat. You can have your right forearm on your thigh or hovering off. A lot of space here. The more the better, really. When you're ready, either have a seat on your left hip or hover off the floor and bring your left leg forward and then back to the lunge. Just like the first side, 5 or 6 more times. Slow and smooth is the way to go. Now, once it feels like you've gone through both sides an equal number of times, go into whatever resting pose you like. A couple options are thunderbolt pose, child's pose, crocodile, dog pose, whatever resting pose you prefer. Practice being still again, smooth out your breath. All right, let's come into staff pose. Just have a seat, stretch your legs forward, and sit up nice and tall. Take a few breaths here in Dandasana. And then when you're ready here, Paschimottanasana, hold your feet. All right, let's sit up. Okay, we're going to put a bunch of things together for the technical stand up. We haven't done this one in a while, friends, so I'm gonna give some pointers. It's gonna, as I kind of implied, we're gonna put up a number of those movements together. Great for core strength and hip mobility. So start from here and bring your left knee up. Remember, wherever knee is up, that same side hand is going to be up off the floor as well. Like earlier, it can be on your forearm or hovering. So from here, left knee up, left hand up. Right hand over here is down. Press your right hand and your left foot down. Lift your lower body off the floor and step back. We're going to step back into a sumo squat. So as you step back, have your feet wide. Try keep your hips lower than your shoulders. Once you're here, then stand up and go back down. So deep sumo squat, hips lower than shoulders. Bring your right hand to the floor. Now slide your right leg through and have a seat again facing the front of your mat as I am. Then let's change sides. So now bring your right knee up and right hand up. Left hand's over here. Last space between your right foot and your left hand though. Use your core to lift your lower body up. Step your left foot back. Have your feet wide. Try to get your hips low and then stand up. Deep sumo squat, hips low, then left hand down. Slide your left leg through, face the front of your mat, back into staff pose. Left knee and left hand up. Step your right foot back. Get your hips low. Stand up. Squat back down, right hand down. Slide your right leg through, both legs forward. Right knee and right hand up. Left hand down. Step your left foot back. Get your hips low. Stand up. Squat down. Left leg through. Just try a few more of those on your own at your own pace with a skillful use of your breath still. All right. Once you've mastered both sides, let's come into Baddha Konasana, or bound angle pose, sometimes called the butterfly. Let's sit up nice and tall here. Find that stillness again. Smooth out your breath. And then begin to lean forward over your feet. Great. Go ahead and lower onto your back now. Let's do a little bridging next. All right. As we've been doing the last few weeks, we're going to reverse the breathing a little bit. I'm going to ask you to exhale as you push your hips up. Inhale when you bring hips down. Just keep your arms down by your sides. So when you're ready here, exhale, push your hips up. Inhale when you lower your hips back down. Try 5 or 6 more of those. Up and down on the breath. Hopefully, every repetition, you feel the fronts of your hips open up a little bit more. After 5 or 6 times, then keep your hips up. Take a few slow, smooth ujjayi breaths here. All right, then lower down. Now, when you're ready here, let's do some form of shoulder stand, something like shoulder stand. You can always just lift your legs up a wall, block under your hips, blankets, whatever variation of Sarvangasana you feel appropriate for your neck, just for the next 60 seconds or so. And then plow feels okay for your neck and your low back. Go bring your legs back over, head toward plow pose. If you haven't already, begin to lower to your back. Once you're on your back, just take a minute to do whatever it feels like you need to do to prepare for Shavasana next. Just take a minute to get really comfortable and or do any counter posing that you like to do. All right. When you're ready, go ahead and settle in. Just make yourself super comfortable. Once you have settled in, allow the floor to take your body weight. Allow your upper and lower rows of teeth to separate and feel your tongue widen inside your mouth. Soften your eyes, even release your breath so you're not trying to shape it or control it. Not really practicing pranayama right now, but continue with your pratyahara. So you're still drawing your senses, your awareness inward, watching on the inside, almost like you're watching someone else. All right. And start to bring some awareness back to your extremities. Wiggle your fingers and toes, and roll your ankles and wrists. Take the next minute or so to work yourself back up to seated and into any comfortable seated posture. All right. So let's go. Let's do a few rounds of Nadi Kriya. We're going to do about 5 minutes of Nadi Kriya. Now, I'm just going to talk us through the first round, then you repeat on your own. Most of us watching this, I'm pretty sure, are very familiar with this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining. If you're confused about it, if you need more details, then after class, go ahead and look at the tutorial section because I have a tutorial on Nadi Kriya. Nadi Kriya, okay? So, but like I said, I'll talk us through the first round, and then you just do a couple more probably on your own in this next 5 minutes. All right, so sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. When you're ready here, 9 Kapalabhati breaths. After 9, block off your left nostril. Inhale through your right nostril. Now retain that breath in for as long as you can. Just practice being really still again. When it feels like you need to exhale, block off your right nostril and exhale through your left. Once you have exhaled, just take a normal breath. Take one normal breath. And then do 9 more Kapalabhatis. Now block off your right nostril and inhale through your left. Pause here. Find that stillness as you retain the breath in. And when it feels like you need to exhale, block off your left nostril and exhale through your right. And then release your hand down and finish the round by taking like an ujjayi inhale through your mouth. And then do a short pause. Just pause for 1 second at the top of this inhale. When you exhale, make a hissing sound, which will help to stretch the breath. All right, that was one round. Now repeat that sequence probably a couple more times for most of us. And once you've completed this round, allow yourself to breathe free again. And if it feels like you need to change the cross of your legs or adjust your seat in any way, take care of that. And then begin to move your torso side to side as if your spine was a blade of grass and there is a gentle breeze blowing it side to side. Make it a really subtle movement though, so if I were to look at you, I might not notice you're moving, but you feel your spine gently sway side to side. Okay, then come back to the center. Practice keeping your body perfectly still, but keep all of your awareness in your spine. Have so much awareness in your spine that it feels like it's full of energy. Over these next few moments, if your awareness drifts away from your spine, that's okay. Just do a little movement again until you can feel it. Once you do, come back to the center. Practice keeping your body perfectly still, spine full of energy. All right, then bring your palms together back to Anjali Mudra and take one last moment to enjoy the peace you've created through the practice. Start to rub your palms together, create a little more heat. And once you build some heat this time, rest your hands over your eyes, feel it moving and recharging your senses. And take one last slow, smooth breath in here. When you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed class. Remember, if you enjoyed class, help us spread the word. Let your friends know. Also, still some rooms available for my Portugal retreat in September and October. Let me know if you're interested. Have a great day and hope to see you again soon.